Your grandmother could feed 6 people in 10 minutes flat, with ingredients that cost less than a bus fare. No Jamie Oliver, no Nigella, just a hot pan, whatever sat in the cupboard, and 60 years of kitchen wisdom passed down through generations who knew what hunger felt like. These are the meals that vanished when ready meals took over. The suppers that kept miners going, fed children after school, and stretched a single shilling into something that tasted like love. Number 23 on this list was so common in the 1950s that the Ministry of Food printed recipes for it. Now, most people under 40 have never heard of it. And number 7? Your Nan made it in 4 minutes, and modern chefs are only just rediscovering why it works. These 30 meals were so effective that food companies spent millions in advertising to make us forget them. Here is the truth nobody talks about. If you knew what your grandmother knew, you would stop buying half the products in your Tesco trolley. Before we start, hit that subscribe button, because what you are about to learn could change how you eat on a budget. Let us count down the 30 quickest, cheapest meals that British kitchens have forgotten. Number 30. Pobs. Before ready breck and crunchy nut cornflakes, there was Pobs. Torn bread soaked in warm milk with a spoonful of sugar stirred through. That was breakfast, supper, and sometimes both in homes where pennies mattered more than presentation. Housewives heated milk in a small pan, barely a minute on the gas, then poured it over stale bread torn into rough chunks. The bread softened instantly, turning into something between porridge and pudding. Children ate it from chipped bowls, the spoon scraping china, while mothers watched to make sure nothing was wasted. In 1952, a pint of milk cost 4p and a loaf about 6p. Pobs stretched both further than any cereal could. For teething babies, it was soft enough to gum. For elderly grandparents with failing teeth, it was gentle and warm. The dish needed no cooking skill, no special equipment. Oral histories from Yorkshire recall Pobs as the taste of childhood illness, the meal that appeared when stomachs were fragile and comfort mattered most. Today it survives only in the memories of those who grew up when nothing was ever thrown away. Number 29. Sugar sandwiches. When the cupboard held nothing but bread and the sugar bowl, Nan made do. 2 slices of white bread, a thick spread of margarine, and a generous coating of granulated sugar pressed between. That was tea for thousands of children across Britain when wages ran out before payday. The crunch of sugar against soft bread was a texture unlike anything else, sweet and strange and oddly satisfying. In the 1950s, sugar cost about 6p a pound, cheap enough to stretch across a week if you were careful. The meal took perhaps 2 minutes to prepare, and it silenced hungry children long enough to think about tomorrow. Diaries from the era mention the ritual with a mix of embarrassment and fondness. By the 1970s, as prosperity spread, sugar sandwiches became something to hide rather than share. Number 28. Fried bread. The smell of bread frying in dripping could fill a terrace house in seconds. Your Nan cut thick slices from a stale loaf, heated the fat until it shimmered, and fried each slice until golden and crisp on both sides. The whole process took 5 minutes, and the result was a meal that satisfied in ways toast never could. In the early 1950s, fried bread appeared at breakfast tables across Britain, soaking up bacon fat and egg yolk. Children fought over the crispiest slices. Fathers claimed the pieces fried in bacon grease. The National Food Survey recorded that dripping remained a kitchen staple well into the 1960s, its role in fried bread only fading when vegetable oils and health warnings took hold. Number 27. Bovril toast. That dark glass jar with the red lid, sat in nearly every British cupboard through the 1950s and 1960s. Bovril spread on hot buttered toast was a meal in itself, the intense beefy saltiness cutting through the richness of the butter. The whole thing took 3 minutes. Children came home from school to find Bovril toast waiting on the table, the smell of yeast and beef filling the kitchen. For many, it was the taste of winter afternoons, of homework done by the fire. Bovril advertisements promised strength and warmth, and for families stretching every penny, that promise felt true. The spread delivered protein and flavor when meat was too dear. A jar cost about 1 6 and lasted months. Number 26. Bread and milk pudding. Not the baked version that took an hour, but the quick stovetop rescue that appeared when children needed feeding and time had run out. Your nan would tear stale bread into a pan, pour over milk, add sugar and a scrape of nutmeg, then heat gently until the mixture turned soft and creamy. 5 minutes, maybe 6, and supper was ready. The dish sat somewhere between porridge and pudding, warm and filling, and impossibly cheap. In homes where the oven was saved for weekends, stovetop bread and milk became the weeknight answer to empty stomachs. Number 25. Chip butty. The chip butty needed no introduction in the North, where it ruled as the undisputed king of quick comfort food. Thick-cut chips piled between 2 slices of buttered white bread, pressed flat, and eaten hot from the hand. The whole assembly took the time it took to fry a handful of potatoes, barely 10 minutes from cold pan to full stomach. Fish and chip shops sold chips by the portion for 6pence, and families carried them home wrapped in newspaper to build their own butties at the kitchen table. Children drowned theirs in tomato sauce. Fathers preferred salt and vinegar. Oral histories from Lancashire recalled the chip butty as the Friday night reward. Number 24. Sardines on toast. The tin opener was the most important tool in your nan's kitchen, and sardines were proof of why. A tin cost about 9pence in the early 1950s and could feed 3 people when mashed onto hot buttered toast. The whole meal took 4 minutes. Open the tin. Toast the bread. Mash the fish. Eat. Housewives kept tins in the back of the cupboard for emergencies, knowing that protein was expensive, but tinned fish was not. Children wrinkled their noses at the smell, but ate every bite when hunger demanded it. Fathers spread the fish thick, bones and all, knowing that calcium hid in every mouthful. Number 23. Dripping toast. Before avocado, before hummus, there was dripping. Beef fat rendered from the Sunday roast was saved in a ceramic pot and spread thick on hot toast with a pinch of salt. The taste was pure, concentrated Sunday dinner, rich and savory, and unlike anything else. The preparation took 2 minutes. By 1954, the National Food Survey recorded that dripping remained a dietary staple in working-class homes. The Ministry of Food published guidance on saving and storing dripping properly. Mothers spread it for children's tea. Fathers ate it standing at the counter after late shifts. The pot of dripping sat by the range, always ready, always waiting. Today, chefs rediscover beef fat as a gourmet ingredient, but the everyday practice has vanished. Number 22. Eggy bread. Your nan called it eggy bread. The French called it pain perdu. The difference was your nan could make it in 5 minutes with 2 eggs and stale bread. She beat eggs with a splash of milk, dipped thick slices until soaked, then fried them in butter or dripping until golden on both sides. The result was crisp outside, soft inside, and filling enough to count as a proper tea. Ministry of Food pamphlets recommended eggy bread as an economical way to use leftover bread. Children ate it with sugar and a squeeze of lemon. Parents preferred it savory, with a shake of salt and a fried tomato alongside. Number 21. Cheese Dreams. 2 slices of bread, a thick layer of cheese, pressed together and fried in butter until the bread turned golden and the cheese melted into strings. 6 minutes. The sizzle of butter and the smell of browning cheese filled the kitchen. Children watched the edges crisp, waiting for their mother to slice the dream in half and reveal the molten cheese inside. Oral histories recall cheese dreams as the taste of rainy afternoons, of unexpected treats. As grilled cheese sandwiches and panini took over, the fried cheese dream faded from memory. Number 20. Tinned tomatoes on toast. Before passata, before sun-dried anything, there were tinned tomatoes. They were heated in a small pan with a knob of butter, a pinch of sugar, and plenty of black pepper, then spooned over hot buttered toast. 7 minutes from tin to table. Tinned tomatoes cost about 8p in the early 1950s and could feed 4 people when stretched across enough toast. Mothers kept a stack of tins in the larder, insurance against empty cupboards. Children mashed the tomatoes into their toast, creating red rivers across white bread. The dish was so common, it rarely appeared in cookbooks. Why write down what everyone already knew? Number 19. Bacon sandwich. The bacon sandwich needed no explanation, but your nan's version was different. Thick-cut bacon from the butcher's, fried in its own fat until the edges crisped and the kitchen filled with smoke, then pressed between 2 slices of white bread spread thick with butter. It took 8 minutes and cost less than a shilling in the early 1950s. The bacon was different then, fatter and more intensely flavored than the watery rashers that fill supermarket packets today. Housewives saved the rendered fat for frying eggs and potatoes later. They wasted nothing. Number 18. Fried potato cakes. Leftover. Mashed potato was never thrown away in your nan's kitchen. It was shaped into flat cakes, dusted with flour, and fried in dripping until a golden crust formed on both sides. 8 minutes. The result was crisp outside, fluffy inside. Children watched mothers shape the cakes with floured hands, sometimes adding grated cheese or chopped spring onion. Cakes fried in bacon fat were considered best, carrying a smokiness that plain dripping could not match. Oral histories recall potato cakes as the taste of Monday tea, when Sunday's roast potatoes found new life. Number 17. Mushrooms on toast. Field mushrooms were fried in butter with a splash of Worcestershire sauce, then piled on hot toast. 6 minutes. In the early 1950s, mushrooms were foraged as often as they were bought. Children were sent out to fields with baskets while mothers prepared the pan. The mushrooms were sliced thick, fried until their juices ran dark, then seasoned with salt and pepper. A few drops of Worcestershire transformed plain mushrooms into something savory and complex. Children who refused vegetables somehow always ate mushrooms on toast. Number 16. Oxo gravy bread. When nothing else would do, your nan crumbled an oxo cube into a mug of boiling water and poured it over torn bread. That was oxo gravy bread, the meal that existed somewhere between soup and desperation. The salty, beefy liquid soaked into the bread, turning it soft and savory. It took 3 minutes and cost almost nothing. In homes where payday was still days away, oxo gravy bread kept children fed until better times arrived. A box of 12 cubes cost 1 shilling and could stretch across weeks of emergencies. The dish appeared in no cookbook, earned no praise, but it did its job. Number 15. Spam fritters. That pink tin of spam sat in cupboards across Britain, ready for the moment when fresh meat was impossible. Your nan would slice it thick, Dip each slice in a simple batter of flour and water, then fry until golden and crisp. 10 minutes. Children loved the crispy coating and the soft, salty meat inside. The fritters could stretch a single tin to feed 5. Ministry of Food Recipes praised Spam as economical and versatile. As fresh meat became affordable and rationing memories faded, Spam retreated to the back of the cupboard. Pattern break. Here is where things become interesting. Your grandmother understood something about quick cooking that modern kitchens have forgotten. She knew that a hot pan, a few staple ingredients, and absolute confidence could produce meals faster than any microwave. No timers, no recipes, just hands that had made the same dishes hundreds of times. These quick meals vanished not because they stopped working, but because we forgot that they ever existed. Supermarkets sold us convenience and we bought it, not realizing we were trading away skills that had fed families for generations. Number 14. Boiled egg and soldiers. The simplest meal, the most perfect. Your Nan boiled water, lowered in an egg, and timed it by instinct while she cut toast into strips. 4 minutes for a runny yolk. By 1956, eggs cost about 4 shillings a dozen, cheap enough that boiled eggs appeared at breakfast, tea, and supper. Children dipped their soldiers with serious concentration, watching yolk drip down the toast. The ritual of cracking the top, scooping with a tiny spoon, and dipping soldier after soldier was a lesson in patience and pleasure. Today we complicate eggs with poaching techniques and avocado, but the simple boiled egg and soldiers that sustained generations has become a rarity. Number 13. Corned beef and pickle sandwich. The corned beef tin with its key-wound lid was a fixture of British cupboards. Sliced thick onto bread with a layer of Branston pickle, it became a sandwich substantial enough to count as dinner. 3 minutes and no cooking. By 1958, tinned corned beef shipped from Argentina filled shelves across Britain. Children learned to wind the key carefully, avoiding the sharp metal edges. The Branston added sweetness and crunch, cutting through the saltiness of the beef. Corned beef sandwiches traveled to work, to school, to picnics. The combination was so common it appeared in no recipe book. Everyone already knew. Number 12. Beans on toast. The meal that needs no introduction, yet deserves recognition. A tin of Heinz baked beans, heated in a small pan, poured over hot buttered toast. Under 10 minutes. By 1960, baked beans had become the unofficial national dish of quick suppers. A tin cost about 8 pence and could feed 3 children or 1 very hungry adult. Mothers kept stacks of tins in the larder. Fathers learned to heat beans when mothers were out. Oral histories recall beans on toast as the taste of independence, the first meal children learned to make for themselves. Your Nan called it Welsh rarebit, never Welsh rabbit, and she could make it in 8 minutes without looking at a recipe. She melted butter in a pan, stirred in grated cheese with a splash of milk and a teaspoon of mustard, then poured the mixture over hot toast and flashed it under the grill until bubbling and brown. The result was cheese on toast, elevated to something approaching elegance. Children watched the cheese bubble under the grill. Fathers claimed the pieces with the most brown spots. As sliced processed cheese and microwave meals took over, the proper Welsh rarebit retreated to pubs and nostalgic cookbooks. Number 10. Fried egg and chips. The perfect meal. A fried egg with a runny yolk sits atop a pile of golden chips, the yolk breaking and coating every chip it touches. Your Nan made it in 10 minutes, the eggs frying while the chips crisped in the pan. By 1955, fried egg and chips was the go-to tea when nothing else would do. Children made yolk rivers across their plates. Fathers ate standing at the counter after late shifts. The chips were cut thick and fried in dripping until the edges darkened and the insides turned fluffy. No oven chips could match them. Number 9. Pilchards on toast. Pilchards were the sardines' bigger, cheaper cousin, packed in tins of tomato sauce. Your Nan mashed them onto hot buttered toast in under 5 minutes. A tin cost about 8 pence and could feed 4 people. Children ate around the bones at first, then learned to eat them. The fish delivered protein and omega oils decades before anyone called them superfoods. Mothers kept tins in the cupboard for emergencies. As tuna sandwiches and fish fingers took over, Pilchards retreated to the bottom shelf. Here is what the cookbooks never told you. Your grandmother's 10-minute meals were not compromises. They were perfected through thousands of repetitions. She did not time eggs because she had made so many that her hands knew when 4 minutes had passed. She did not measure cheese because she could feel when the mixture was right. When we stopped making these meals, we did not just lose recipes. We lost the instincts that came with them. Number 8. Toast sandwich. Yes, a piece of toast between 2 slices of bread. The meal sounds like a joke until you understand its purpose. Mrs. Beeton included the toast sandwich in her cookbook as an invalid food, something easy to digest. By the 1950s, it had become something else. A meal for children who wanted toast but needed filling. The hot toast warmed the cold bread around it. A scrape of butter added richness. Salt and pepper made it almost savory. Nobody bragged about toast sandwiches. People ate them when circumstances demanded. Number 7. Dippy eggs with buttered bread soldiers. Your Nan soft-boiled an egg, set it in a cup, sliced off the top, and handed you a plate of buttered bread soldiers. It took 5 minutes. The dipping began immediately, yolk coating the bread. Children leaned over their eggs with concentration, timing their dips to catch the yolk at its runniest. By 1955, Dippy eggs appeared in nurseries and kitchens across Britain. They required almost no cooking skill, yet delivered perfect nutrition. The tradition faded as breakfast cereals took over morning tables. Number 6. Bread and scrape. When butter ran out, your Nan scraped the dish. Bread and scrape was exactly what it sounded like. Bread with whatever thin layer of butter or margarine could be scraped from an almost empty dish. It took 1 minute and cost nothing beyond the bread itself. By 1952, butter remained rationed at 4 ounces per person per week. Bread and scrape was how families stretched that ration to cover every slice. The meal left no record in cookbooks, but oral histories recall it clearly. Number 5. Condensed milk sandwiches. That tin of carnation, with the sweet, sticky milk inside, became the filling for sandwiches that children adored and dentists despaired over. Your Nan spread condensed milk thick on white bread, pressed the slices together, and served them as a treat. They took 2 minutes to make and delivered pure sweetness. By the late 1950s, condensed milk cost about 1 shilling a tin and could stretch across weeks. Children ate them after school and as rewards for finished homework. As chocolate spread and jam became easier to buy, the condensed milk sandwich faded. Number 4. Marmite soldiers. 3 minutes. Your Nan toasted bread, spread it with butter and Marmite, and cut it into soldiers. That dark yeast extract divided Britain as sharply as any food. By 1956, Marmite jars sat in most British cupboards. Children either adored the salty, savory taste or refused it entirely. There was no middle ground. A jar cost about 1 shilling and 6pence and lasted months. The tradition survives today, but it has lost its place as a staple quick meal. Number 3. Pan-fried bread pudding. Not the baked slab that took an hour, but the quick stovetop version. Your Nan tore bread into a bowl, added an egg, a splash of milk, sugar, and some mixed dried fruit. Then fried spoonfuls in butter until golden on both sides. 10 minutes. The dish sat between breakfast and dessert, sweet enough to feel like a treat, and filling enough to count as a meal. Children watched the mixture sizzle and smelled the fruit caramelizing. The tradition faded as quick desserts came ready-made from supermarket freezers. Number 2. Onion gravy and bread. When meat was impossible and vegetables were scarce, your Nan fried onions low and slow, stirred in a spoonful of flour, added water and an OXO cube, and made gravy. That onion gravy poured over bread became a meal. 10 minutes. The onions turned sweet and soft, and the gravy turned rich and brown. Children ate it when nothing else would do, dipping crusts and scraping plates. By 1952, onions cost about 4 pence a pound. Onion gravy and bread was the meal that proved flavor did not require expense. It survives nowhere today. Number 1. Bread and dripping with salt. The simplest meal, the most important. Bread spread with cold beef dripping, seasoned with a pinch of salt. 1 minute to prepare, and it cost almost nothing. That was tea, supper, and sometimes breakfast in homes where the Sunday roast was a luxury stretched across the entire week. The dripping pot sat by the range, always ready. The bread was cut thick. The salt was essential. By 1954, dripping was still a kitchen staple. Mothers spread it for hungry children. Fathers ate it, standing at the counter. Grandparents remembered when dripping toast was the highlight of the day. Behind that simplicity lay generations of knowledge about how to stretch every last drop from a joint of beef. It has vanished from most British tables today. But for those who remember, the taste remains. Rich, salty, the flavor of being cared for when nothing else was possible. Try one this week? Just one. Then tell me in the comments which one you remember and whether your Nan made it the same way. These meals are proof that good cooking never required expensive ingredients. It required care. And that is something we can all still manage in 10 minutes flat.